Okay. Go ahead,
Oh. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभृत्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Very good. So I'm going to summarize page 14 to 19, I guess, right?
Yeah, slokas 2 and 3, Raghuji.
13 to 17. Yeah. 3 and 4. 2 and 3.
2 and 3, Raghuji.
Correct.
Shloka number 2. To the extent sattva increases in our mind, to that extent rajas and tamas are reduced. With the increase of sattva, we experience greater peace, cheerfulness, joy, and so on. Sattva arises by association with sattvika things. Anything and everything that happens anywhere affects us. We are more affected by things, beings, or events with which we are in direct contact. Therefore, when we choose to associate with things which are sattvika, our mind becomes more sattvic. When sattva is well developed, mature, and abiding, devotion to the Lord arises within us. That which is characterized by devotion to the Lord and quest for the truth is called true dharma. Any action or quality which takes away from the Lord or creates indifference or disbelief is termed as adharma. Shloka number 3. The virtue of devotion grown from sattva destroys rajas and tamas and the sins caused by them. Devotion to the Lord is the greatest result of increased sattva. Work done with love and devotion is true dharma. The increased sattva and devotion do not destroy the necessary characteristics of rajas and tamas like activity and sleep, but destroys only their harmful effects like lust, anger, lethargy, etc. In addition to evil or criminal acts, the following are also forms of adharma. Vidharma, that is obstructing others who walk the path of good or creating hurdles in the performance of their duties. Paradharma, performing others' dharma or duties. Abhasa, doing dharma or duties for namesake or appearance. Upama, copying others without understanding or seeing one's own capacities. Chala, cheating others, not doing one's own prescribed duties. and doing prohibited acts. Doing action without thinking of the consequences, without discrimination, impulsively, rashly, or in delusion. Therefore, truth is that following which man never slips or falls, even when he walks with his eyes closed. Hari Om.
Very good. Anybody want to add?
I have a question on what I told itself, Raghuji.
Okay.
On what I said. So he said that if any action or quality that takes away from the Lord or creates indifference or disbelief is termed as adharma. So our own ignorance is also adharma?
Yep. But you have to understand, ignorance is the cause of adharma. See, if you are not ignorant of your real self as Brahman or the Atman, then there's no question of adharma. Right? Only because ignorant that you have the rajasic and tamasic tendencies, and to some extent sattvic tendencies also. Anybody want to add, or I hope I answered the question.
I have to do mananam on what you said, Raghuji.
Okay. See, you have to understand two things. One is the what do you call? Forget the exact words, but one is the ignorance, and number one. Two is the ignorance caused identification with the what do you call the worldly names and forms. Okay, and the this ignorance is called mula
Mula Vidya.
mula vidya. Okay, there are a lot of like ignorance. I'm ignorant of physics. I'm ignorant of mathematics. That's also ignorance. But what we are talking about, ignorance of the self, is called mula vidya. That I don't have forgotten that I am that pure Brahman. And because of that, I'm supposed to have gone through so many births as an individual jiva. And through this process of uh, innumerable jivas, I have accumulated vasanas based on our sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic activities that I have performed. So yeah, let's think about it, and if we still have questions, we can discuss that one. And just I want to share this thing about. Now we just talked about karma, and I want to show what Bhagavan talks about karma in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. He says the sattvic means obligatory actions done free of attachment, done without love or hatred by one who is desireless of the fruit. Okay, so it can be called as both sannyasa and tyaga, because you have given up all the self-centered, selfish actions. Okay, done actions are done without an attachment. That is sannyasa. Okay, and then the actions that are done without any desire or selfish desire for the fruits of the action is the tyaga. But what about rajas? Actions done with longing for fruits and done with egoism and with much effort. That is rajas. What is tyaga? I mean, tamas, actions undertaken with delusion, without regard to the consequences, loss, injury, and ability. So, this is in general. But here, Tejamananda Swamiji has taken the same thing and broken down into practical life. So, in our daily life, what is Vidharma, what is Paradharma, what is Abhasa, Upama, Shala. So we don't think about those things. And so, for a fast progress, we have to remember this teaching of Guruji and keep comparing to our own activities and say, hey, where do I stand? Because we might be sattvic in general, but there's always a tinge of rajas and tamas, like a jealousy, hatred. Okay. Oh, I like everybody except that person because he is so and so, because he has done such and such a thing. But who are we to judge? Okay. So, like that. So, that is the thing, difference between me and a great sage like Chinmaya Swamiji or Tejamananda Swamiji. Okay. Number one, they don't talk about any negative things about other people. And number two, even if somebody had done negative activities, they try to forget it or bless them. So that is the thing that we need to learn from people. So now we go to number four. It's also very, very important. It says, it was said that association with sattvic things increases sattva. So question is, what are the various causes in association with which the three qualities increase is now elaborated. So Bhagavan is giving the 10 items to discuss what is sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. So we will see that one. आगमोपः प्रजादेशः आगमोपः प्रजादेशः कालकर्म च जन्म च कालकर्म च जन्म च ध्यानं मन्त्रोऽथ संस्कारः ध्यानं मन्त्रोऽथ संस्कारः दशैते गुणहेतवः दशैते गुणहेतवः. I'm going to chant once more. आगमोपः प्रजादेशः कालकर्म च जन्म च ध्यानं मन्त्रोऽथ संस्कारः दशैते गुणहेतवः. Okay, Akhilaji, you want to read, Amma?
Yes, Rikiji. Agamaha, scripture. Apaha, water. Praja, company. Deshaha, place. Kalaha, time. Karma, action. Cha, and. Janma, birth. Cha, and. Dhyanam, meditation. Mantraha, chant. Atha, also. Sanskaraha, purificatory rituals. Dasha, ete. These 10 gunahetavaha are the cause for the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Scriptures, water, company, place, time, action, birth, meditation, mantra, and purification rituals are the 10 causes for the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas.
Want to comment? Go ahead and read the next paragraph.
Everything in the world has 3 qualities. However, one is predominant and therefore a thing is termed sattvika, sattva predominance, rajasika, rajas predominance, or tamasika, tamas predominance. As we have seen earlier, everything that we come in direct contact with affects or influences us greatly. Even amongst them, certain things have greater influence and determine our disposition, mental moods, propensities, or nature. These are enumerated below. We should be fully aware of how they affect us and therefore decide how we wish to be influenced by them, thereby choosing to disassociate or disassociate from them. To associate or dissociate from them. So I don't know, Raghuji. He says these are the things, but how it affects or disaffects, I don't know. I'll have to wait. You can help us.
Okay, so you can see as long as we are living in this world, everything in this world, starting from my body, mind, intellect, and any inert or living beings that we handle, all of them are associated with the three gunas. Only thing that is not associated with the gunas is the Brahman or the pure Atman or the consciousness. If I am identified with my Atman and not with the body, then, okay, then this question does not arise. But for us who are still identified with our BMI, that we have to continue to say what we are doing, what we are thinking, all that, and continue to slowly improve our nature from Rajasic and Tamasic to Sattva. So, in this, just I want to show it that table once more. Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he talked about the various aspects in the three gunas. One is kind of gods we worship, the food we like, the yagna or sacrifice or the karmas we do, tapas or austerity, dhanam, tyaga, renunciation, gnanam or knowledge, karma, karta, buddhi, dhruti, and sukham or happiness in the 17th and 18th chapters, sattva, rajas, and tamas. But here, the same Lord Krishna in Bhagavatam is talking about the same thing from a different angle, point of view. So he's talking about scriptures, water meaning anything that we consume through the mouth, company we keep, the place, time, action, birth, meditation, mantra, and purificatory rituals. You can say so much difference in the headings between Bhagavad Gita and here, and fortunately for us, Tejamananda Swamiji is able to explain each one. One thing we have to remember, as long as we live in this world, we are associated with things. Certain things that we have the ability to avoid, and if we know these are Rajasic and Tamasic, we should do our best to avoid. Sometimes we cannot avoid things, and then you stay as much from a distance from that kind of thing, and only take what is the best in from that object or situation. So it's a constant effort, and we have to do it with our sattvic mind. So, the next what we do is Bhagavan, I mean, Tejamananda Swamiji asked about each of the 10 subjects. What is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic? And so let us see. Is Anjaneyalu not here today? Ashwin not here. No, Dr. Noli is not here. Girjama, you want to read that Agama, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic, please?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Amma.
Okay. Agama, scriptures. They are the discoveries, inventions, knowledge, and wisdom of great minds arising from their research or direct experiences. They teach us about life and are our precious inheritance. These can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Sattvic, those scriptures or knowledge that make us introvert, sensitive, and pure, prompt us to do good and be good, and increase love for the Lord and quest for truth are sattvic. They speak about the individual, jiva, the world, jagat, and the Lord, Ishvara. Their interrelations and the essential truth, Brahman. Study and practice of these make man a refined and truly educated human being. Example of Sattvic scriptures are the Upanishads, Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, pure sciences, Ayurveda, etc. Rajasic. They make our mind extrovert and increase desires for pleasure, power, possessions, etc. They speak about higher realms of pleasures and comforts like the heavens and teach us about various ways to worship heavenly beings, etc. Their study makes men literate and smart or scholarly, but may increase arrogance and desire prompted actions. For example, the Karma Kand portions of the Vedas, secular knowledge like politics, economics, etc. Tamasic, they increase delusions and base or criminal tendencies, e.g., Chora Vidya, knowledge of stealing. These are pseudo scriptures, heretic in nature, Pakhand Shastra, or they prompt us to worship negative forces like ghosts and do terrible forms of worship like offering human or animal sacrifice. These may make us atheist or fanatics.
Yeah, you want to comment?
Apaha, water.
No. You want to stop there. You want to comment on it? You want to discuss? We want to discuss that agama.
Yes. The Sattvic scriptures make us introvert, sensitive, and pure. And they prompt us to do good and be good and increase love for the Lord. And Rajasic, they make our mind extrovert and increase desires for pleasure, power, possessions. And Tamasic, they increase delusions and base or criminal tendencies like Chor Vidya, which is knowledge of stealing. These are the pseudo scriptures, that is Tamasic.
Right. So, thank you, Ma. Very nice. So, you can see here, agama, one meaning of agamas are the ritual, these instructions that are given in various pujas or homas and all kinds of agamas. But here, the word agama is talking of the knowledge of the scriptures. But here, even whenever we say scripture, usually we talk of the Vedas and Itihasas and Puranas. But here, it is all inclusive. Any knowledge that you gain from studying, like in college or school or self-study, all of them are agamas. And the study of this knowledge which produces make you introvert. That means think more in terms of, hey, what is my nature? What is my goal of life? They're called sattvic. But the same scriptures will make you more extrovert. Hey, if you do this and this and this, that you get rich. Okay, if you do and this and this and this, you get more punya. So why you want to get punya? Oh, you want to go to the heavenly worlds and enjoy the pleasures from what the scriptures say. The pleasures there are more intense, and we live there for a long time, and we don't get old and all that. And tamasic is the one, a person who gets abnormal pleasure by hurting other people, like stealing, robbing, killing. So, sattvic is the one that takes you towards God. So, like Tejamda Swamiji is talking about, the sattvic scriptures talk about the individual jiva, jagat, and Ishvara. So, the only three things. I am the jiva, and I know this superpower called Ishvara. and this whole world that I see is the Jagat. What is the relation between the three? So, like Shankaracharya ji beautifully says, let me see if I can remember. Anybody know that? Half a verse. Jivo Brahmaikya Naparaha. This Jiva and the Jagat are what we call illusion. Okay. And this Jiva is nothing but that Brahman. That is the uh, real knowledge. And how to achieve that? That you continue to study the scriptures and get introvert by studying that kind of scriptures and meditate on them and live like that. But there are people who are extremely interested in the worldly pleasures and heavenly pleasures. Even they might know theory as what is my real goal of life, but we say no, I'm still interested in worldly pleasures. Okay, you can do it, be rajasic, but don't be tamasic. That way, you won't be doing it at the expense of other people. So, if you want to enjoy, enjoy life, but in a dharmic way. And practicing dharma, you purify your heart in this life or the other, that you will one day, you will show tendency for sattvic qualities because of the dispassion that you develop from say, hey, I have had enough of these pleasures, I want to contemplate, I want to withdraw. Okay. But as you are extremely tamasic, that is extremely difficult for him to become rajasic and sattvic. So most of us who are studying the scriptures are sattvically predominant, and we have the desire to continue to become more and more sattvic or completely pure sattvic, that we, as we saw in the previous three verses. Anybody want to add comment? Okay. And Madhu Kukkala here today? No. Okay. Yadav, Maya, you want to read Amma, the next one, the Apaha?
Okay, Hari Om. Apaha, water. This also includes the food we eat. The Chandogya Upanishad says that the food and water we eat and drink are divided into three parts. The grossest part of the food is eliminated as excreta. The subtler becomes the flesh, and the subtlest form the material for the mind. The grossest part of the water becomes urine and sweat. The subtler becomes blood and fluid, and the subtlest affect the functioning of the physiological functions, which in turn support life. Also, it is said, as the water you drink, so develops your speech. One of the reasons why the gopis of Vrindavan spoke sweetly was that they always drank the water of holy Yamuna river. Hence, we see the great influence of food and water of the whole being. That's ends here, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Sattvic, food that is juicy, wholesome, nutritious, well cooked, filling, and fulfilling is a sattvic. Example are fresh fruits, vegetables, pulses, and so on. Waters from freshwater springs, holy rivers, sanctified water from the feet of the Lord, Tirtha, Charanamrit, or sanctified with tulsi leaves. Fresh fruits, juices, and so on are sattvic. Such food and water increase our lifespan, make the mind pure, sharp, and alert, strengthen the body and give us a sense of well-being. Rajasic, food which is too spicy, too sour, too oily, too hot, too dry, burnt, overcooked, or undercooked is a Rajasic. Just junk food or fast food, soft drink, canned juices, oil, and beverages like tea and coffee are Rajasic. Such food and water causes disease as agitation and in the mind and weakens the body. I can read today. Okay, tamasic, food which is stale, tasteless, without nutrition, foul smelling, and so on is a tamasic. Examples are meat, garlic, onion, and so on. All alcoholic drinks are tamasic. Such food and liquids increase tamasic qualities like delusion, laziness, dullness, criminal tendencies, and destroy one's health.
Want to comment?
Actually, this is quite good to explain. It says that what we eat, what we drink, that they say that whatever we eat, whatever we drink, that's what we become. And Swamiji is saying is that when you eat that food, what it comes in three, it divides in three. So and then if you really eating the sattvic food, it will be more towards your mind and will increase your sattvic in your body and mind. And if you eat the tamasic food, then that's what your body and mind will become.
Yeah.
Hari Om.
Very nice. Yeah. So I want to read those two mantras from the Chandogya Upanishad that Swamiji is referring to. He says, अन्नमशितं त्रिधा विधीयते तस्य यः स्तविष्टः धातुस्तत्पूरिशं भवति यो मध्यमः तन्मांसं यो निष्ठस्तन्मनः. I'm surprised I did not write down the meaning of it. 1 second, let me get that book. I thought I had written down the translation. Okay, I got it. It says the food when eaten becomes divided into three parts. What is the grossest ingredient of the food that becomes the feces? What is the middling, the more subtle portion, it becomes the flesh. And what becomes the subtlest ingredient of the food that we eat, that becomes the mind. So you can say what we eat would affect our mind. Same way with water. Apah pītāstredhā vidhāyante तासाम यः स्तविष्टः धातुस्तन्मूत्रं भवति यो मध्यमः तल्लोहितम् यो निष्ठः सः प्राणः. And he says that water that we consume becomes divided into three parts. What is the grossest ingredient? That becomes the urine. What is the middling or the subtle ingredient? That becomes the blood. And that which is the subtlest ingredient, it becomes the prana. So you can say how the water and the food affect our being. So that's what he's telling in the page 19 regarding the Chandogya Upanishad thing. And he also says, he's quoting from a Subhashita, he says, Yatha pani tatha vani. So whatever you drink, that affects your speech. So you can say that drinking intoxicating drinks definitely affect your thinking and speech. And so, even like Swamiji says, even to the subtle extent that drinking Ganga water, Yamuna water, sacred waters are very beneficial to our thinking, our prana. So I still remember when we were visiting Gangotri, and after visiting Gangotri, we did the Snanam and all that, and then we came down to the restaurant there to eat, and then naturally we all ordered bottled water. That Sita's father, you all know Sita, and her father was with us, and he said, "You come all the way to Gangotri, and you take a bath in Ganga, and then you want to drink bottled water." So, like that, we don't think. So, So, uh, whether the food that we consume, one thing we have to remember is not just the food, anything that we consume through our five senses, we have to think what is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Of course, in this context, he's talking of the food and the real food and water. And so, a very little thing counts for people like us. But if you are a realized master, it doesn't really matter. Okay. But for beginners like us, that we have to pay attention to the food and the drinks that we drink. So, and Rajasic that he was Swamiji is talking about, you can say food which is spicy, sour, oily, hot, dry, burnt, cooked, undercooked, like that. But he uses the word too spicy, too sour, too oily, too hot. So I have to remember that. Okay. So just because you ate some food that is tasty, it doesn't make you rajasic. Okay. Because if the food is very bland, you don't feel like eating. Okay. Particularly in the beginners like us, okay, it's okay to be spicy, a little oily, okay, and fried, but don't make it too extreme, and eat in moderation. But of course, tamasic food you have to avoid. And if you look at an extreme way as it is described, most of the food that we eat is tamasic in the sense that only if you eat fresh food or when cooked within the last 4 hours and eaten hot, that is said to be sattvic. But how many times that we do that? We keep it in the refrigerator and eat and all that. And so we cannot be too strict, but we should do our best to see that our food and drinks are sattvic. Anybody want to add comment?
Raghuji, the last when Bhagini went to Prayagraj, she took the water from the Triveni there from, and then she took it home. She boiled it, and then she brought it here, and she said, "This is from Triveni, but it is still boiled because so many people were there. I didn't want to take a chance, but it is the same water. It is boiled, and she brought it for us."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a practical, because when you are there, though you have that sacred feeling, you take the bath, okay, when millions of people are taking a bath, you do feel it. Being an educated person, knowing how many people are taking a bath and, doing things that they are not supposed to do in the water. And also, the water is really not flowing fast. So, if you want to really consume, either you boil it, or even better, if you can filter it. Filter the water of all the bacteria and uh, things, and then consume. So that way you have consumed it, but at the same time you are free of possibility of diseases. So that's a thing I always wonder. When we talk of 100 years ago, even I think that 50, 60 years ago, this cholera and typhoid and things like that used to be so common in places like that. But everything is under control now. So of course, the though however health conscious we are in a place like Triveni Sangam and all that, okay, and you can see so much of what we call the sewage being sent to the river right in front of you, many places. And so it is difficult, but you do your best, and they are hoping that the government is gradually doing the best things that it can be done. And in the meantime, like what Bhagini did is the right thing, I feel. So if it is me, I would just filter it with a regular cloth and all that, remove the grass impurities, and then I will put it through a regular filter, make it drink as a filtered water. So, anybody want to add comments? This is a practical thing. Okay. Nag, you want to continue, sir?
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Raja, company. We are greatly influenced by the company we keep. Man is known not only by the company he keeps, but also by the company he avoids. Saint Puradasa writes in pain, "Can there be anyone more devious and intelligent than me? Rejecting the company of saints, I keep serving the wicked day and night." Satvika, we are told to keep the company of noble souls, devotees of the Lord, people who value values and do good. As their very presence fills our heart with virtues, their words inspire us to do good and attain greatness, and their very touch or look can transform us. Satsanga, the company of the good, and discourses on the scriptures can create dispassion from intelligence. Dispassion removes delusions and false values. A mind free from delusion can determine the truth, and one who realizes the truth attains liberation. In other words, freedom from all limitations, stress, and sorrows. The company of the truly exalted is indeed rare, and it is difficult to comprehend its glory, but it is never in vain. Millions can vouch for the change in their lives for the better by the touch, look, words, action, or mere presence of good, great, or exalted souls. Saint Narada transformed Sri Valmiki, a looter, and Sri Buddha transformed Angulimala, a murderer. Therefore, we are urged to keep the company of good. Rajasika, the dormant Rajasika tendencies increases in the company of the glamorous, rank, materialistic, the intelligent, the power-hungry, or those who believe in superficial or little thinking and high living. Such company tires us, makes us street smart, increases desires, stress, and strain. Some say we keep a balance in our life. We seek the company of both the good and the bad. We have Ganga Jala, water of the holy Ganga, in the temple and alcohol in the club. Living in society, we have to be like the rest. If we avoid parties, we will have no friends. What will people say if we keep going for satsanga alone? They might call us bhaktas, devotees of the Lord. as though that is bad. In the case of such people, the good of satsanga wears away. Even though they have value for satsanga, they are unable to give up the company of the worldly minded. It is like a diabetes patient taking insulin injection and then gorging on sweets. Tamasika. Our tamasika qualities increases in the company of the wicked, lethargic, perverted, and vulgar. The weak-minded fall prey very easily, and some turn to drugs, alcohol, or criminality due to such company. Sometimes even those who try to change tamasika people are seen to become influenced themselves. Such is the influence of company. Examples are a policeman becoming a criminal, a person trying to prevent drug addiction becoming one himself, or a psychiatrist becoming a psychopath. Therefore, we are told to avoid the company of the bad under all circumstances, for it is the cause of creating lust, anger, loss of memory, and discrimination, and ultimately our utter ruin. So, so here the company, I think, includes watching TV, reading books, watching movies, etc. It is not just keeping and talking to people. I think watching TV or movies can influence one mind as well. I think.
Yeah, you got it right. Everything counts. Everything that we absorb through our ears, through our sight and touch, all these make a difference. The company that we keep. So we don't have to stress the benefits that we all have got from satsang with the sattvic people like swamis and people like example that we had the Aham Brahmasmi Foundation had the two men. What is her name? Keep forgetting. Gita knows that.
Mahadevan and what's his name? Sriram.
Yeah, I think most of you attended that one, and so like that, there's great people, and we should take every opportunity of advantage to see them. So just like other day, I don't know, one of you were talking about somebody from India were commenting that when people like that come, the swamis and all that come here, we get an easy opportunity to sit next to them and under their feet and talk to them and get blessed. And but in India, you have to stand in line for hours, or if at all it's possible that particularly if you are in a small town, you don't have that kind of an opportunity. So we do have great opportunities, and but still we say only a small percentage take advantage of it. So Shankaracharya ji beautifully says in what is that? Bhajagovindam, Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nishchalatatvam, Nishchalatatve Jivan Mukti. From Satsanga need to Nisanga. That means avoids company of the worldly things. And that nisangatve nirmohatvam, since you are not exposed to the outside worldly pleasurable things, all your moha will gradually subside. What happened? What is the benefit? Nirmohatme nishchalatatvam. So your mind becomes purified and single pointed to think of Bhagavan. Nishchalatatve jivan mukti. So when your mind becomes completely pure and single pointed, absorbed in that Brahman, okay, that you are liberated. And even Swamiji quotes from the Narada Bhakti Sutra, he says, Mahatvangastu Durlabaha Agamyo Amo Dascha. He says, to come in contact with the great souls is indeed extremely difficult. It is impossible to know them fully, yet it is infallible in its effect. So you can see that we should never miss the opportunities of satsang. So even if you think that, oh, I am a Shaivite, he is a Vaishnavite, or I am a Vaishnavite, he is a Shaivite, all that kind of things, that we should keep it to the side, and when great souls come, that we should listen, going beyond the name and forms. Okay, any comments anybody want to add?
But Raghu, you don't even need to give up anything. It automatically drops. Everything is, we become uninteresting. They don't want to associate with us. The party people, they don't like me anymore. I don't get invited anymore. So automatically that happens, I think.
Right.
We lose interest. They also lose interest in us because we are uninteresting.
But be honest, were you like that 25 years ago?
No.
Exactly.
No, I was not. But
Right.
then it dropped. I didn't make any effort. It just dropped.
Right. Yeah. See, that is the thing. It's a gradual process.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if 30 years ago, if somebody didn't invite, then you will be wondering why they didn't invite me. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had even people who, like if Gita had not invited for a weekend or some Friday party or something, they would call and say, "Hey, why you didn't invite me?" So like that, and sometimes they even get angry. Okay, and so but because why, we are still rajasic, we still want company. Okay, but as we get more and more attached to Bhagavan, okay,
Yeah.
this attachments to the world and the people gradually go away. Just like beautifully said that you are happy that they don't call you, so that you don't have to say, "Oh, I can't come, I'm not interested." Okay, so they stop calling you, and you also feel happy. So it's just like Tejamanda Swamiji jokingly said once, somebody need to invite you for their child's marriage. You say, "Oh, they didn't invite me." Okay. No, don't feel like that. Just say, "I am glad I can spend more time in better ways, and also I saved myself the expense of a gift." So like that, you can
One
always.
friend was very nice, Raghuji. He called me and he said, "We are moving from this side. We are moving to Alfreda side, to the country club. All our friends live there, and we are going, but we are party people, Akhilaji. We don't much enjoy your company. We like to come to your pujas, but there is nothing much common with you anymore." I laughed so hard. I said, "Oh my God, he was being so honest. Who will be
Exactly.
so honest?"
Exactly. No, yeah, that's the thing. At least she knows. She knows, and she's enjoying, and she will also in another 20 years is enough is enough, and gradually she will turn. And so if you have the 50% introvert, 50% extrovert, just like Tejamananda Swamiji says, the benefits are what do you call neutralized by the uh, negative things. Okay, you're really not getting any benefit. But hopefully, if your sattvic ideas are more, and gradually the rajasic ideas will slowly subside. And just like what happened to you and me, so by the time we reach what do you call vanaprastha age or sannyasa age, that you have really developed dispassion to all those things. So
See, Satya Sai once said in one of the discourses, always think, I am standing right next to you 24/7. Then you will never do anything wrong. You will never say anything wrong. And in fact, you won't even think anything wrong because you know I'm standing right next to you.
exactly, exactly. So because you don't want to do anything bad, and you don't want to do anything bad to the Bhagavan. So just like uh, the bad thoughts or bad actions that uh, you would have normally done, but in front of your mother, you'll be extremely careful what you say and what you do. Okay, and the same way that think that Bhagavan is next to you, and if you are able to think like that, you have gone far towards the sattvic aspect. So, and then soon it becomes your real nature, and so it becomes spontaneous, and that is real pure sattva. So
I had to say something.
please.
Whoever comes to my home, they always wonder why I have all Krishna's pictures everywhere. And they say they should be in temple, not in the house. I said, well, it's just the way of thinking where I think I'm in a temple all the time. So, like you all said, when you see God is there, you maybe think twice to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's the way
That's
I
exactly. That's right. So just like when we come to your house, it feel like we have come to a temple because you see Krishna everywhere. So in the beginning, Krishna is everywhere in pictures, but gradually Krishna is everywhere, even wherever you are, Krishna is there with you. And so Bhagavan is always with us. Only thing is we have to think about him. So that's the thing. So
Raghuji, I had a question.
feel.
Last week we were talking about, we had a point about brahmachari, doing brahmacharyam even when you are in the grahastha ashram. So that way you would get more sattvic. You would be, you would avoid tendencies which are rajasic and tamasic. Even now we are talking about different aspects: the food aspect, the water aspect. Um, so just a question came to me, like, so now we are doing satsang, we get knowledge about Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, you are that Brahman, right? Like, Atman is within you. You just need to realize that. So, I was thinking, like, when we do all these viratas, like, it's a form of brahmacharya. It's a practice where, Lord, for a particular Lord, like Lord Muruga, I do, for Ayyappa, all these viratas. At that time, you are seeing that form in Saguna Brahman, right? You're seeing in that form.
correct.
So,
Correct. See, there are two ways that I look at it. When you are worshipping a form, you can worship as a Saguna Brahman, okay, or you can worship that as the manifestation of the Nirguna Brahma. Okay. And yes, it is a Saguna Brahman because you have a name, you have a form, and you attribute all the supreme qualities to that form. And so it is definitely a Saguna Brahman. But gradually, by concentrate your mind on Saguna Brahman, you are gradually led either in this life or next life to the Nirguna Brahman ultimately.
I mean, definitely, I totally agree, Raghuji. There is bhakti there, and there is also there is an upasana towards one particular form. Is that continued? Is that also a form of sattvic, or are we beyond sattvic?
Yeah, it
At
is
least
definitely
during
sattvic because it is introvert. You are thinking of the Bhagavan. So
no.
you are withdrawing your mind from the worldly things and your mind is occupied with Bhagavan. So it's definitely sattvic. And as it becomes absolutely thinking of Bhagavan, just like the great saints do always thinking of Bhagavan, Ram, 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 or Krishna, 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 okay, that is pure sattva. Pure sattva is actually being in Bhagavan or engulfed in Bhagavan, and your like next step is being occupied with or becoming one with Bhagavan. So
But at the same time, when you are following all the vratas and all, but if you have a desire for something, I will take this vrata. If this happens, and I want this to happen, that's why I'm going to follow this vrata. Then that same vrata will become rajasic also.
correct, correct.
So
it should
can
be.
you call that Gita aunty as a kamya karma? Like, you are doing it for a desire. That Varata is for a desire. If it is niskamya, that means, as Raghuji said, it's totally, I'm only surrendering to that form,
Right.
that's Saguna Brahman.
Correct. Correct. So both of you are right in that. Like actually, you see that in the first chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad, there's so many upasanas are given, and then in the upasanas, at the end of it, the fruit of that upasana is given. Okay. Yes, if you do, if you do those upasanas with a desire for the result, you get those results. But does it mean, oh, I don't want the result, so I don't want to do it? No. You can do the same upasana without any selfish desire for fruits of action. Then it becomes a agent for purifying your mind. Your mind gets purified, and then it becomes more and more sattvic, and then you continue to become the nirguna bhakta. So,
So Raghuji, as Gita aunty pointed, even though it is a purest form, but since it's desire bound, it becomes Rajasi. It
say it
is
again.
pure because even though, as Gita aunty mentioned, even though it is a purest form, because I am sattvic and I am following that Varata strictly, and I'm focusing only on that God, I'm not deviating into anything else. But still, it is desire bound. It becomes the results become Rajasi.
Only if you are doing it for a particular benefit. Like Gita said, I am doing this like chanting Vishnu Sahasranama for the next 1 month every day, so that my son gets a seat in medical school, or my daughter will find a wonderful boy for marriage, or things like that, then it becomes Rajasic.
Okay.
But if you are doing it for no reason except because I love Bhagavan,
Hmm.
okay, then that is Sattvic, right?
Raghuji, I'd like to add something to this. My father and mother, they when my kids were like going to college and all that, in the high school, they were here with us. And then my father said, "You're so stressed about your son's admission in a good school and all that. Why don't you start chanting Vishnu Sahasranam?" So from that day, I started Vishnu Sahasranam daily. Then when my daughter came to the same age, my mom said, "Why don't you start Lalita Sahasranam?" So I started doing Lalita Sahasranam daily. And those days I used to do only because I was my goal was make sure that I aid them, in whatever they desire to do. And but now they have gone, studied everything. I still, whatever happens, wherever I'm traveling, I do that daily. And if I don't do it, I don't feel good, Raghuji. And it's not because I want anything out of it, but it's become a part of me. And
Yeah.
so I have to, I feel so miserable when I don't chant them once daily. So
Yeah.
maybe it started like a rajasic behavior, but I feel that that is giving me a lot of calmness and peace every day in my daily life.
Right.
So I
Right.
think it's indirectly turning into sattvic.
Yeah.
That's my
Correct.
perception. I may be wrong, but I've personally seen that.
No,
So
no, you are
Raghuji,
100% right. Okay. So it starts as Rajasic and gradually becomes Sattvic. Okay. And because that's what exactly in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that four kinds of devotees: Arti, those who is in trouble, he wants relief from the thing, so he prays to Bhagavan for relief of suffering. And Artharti, the one who wants wealth to get better. And the Jignasu, who wants to know Bhagavan. And the Gnani, the one who knows that, hey, I am that Brahman, constantly worshipping. So this Gnani is the highest, but all the other three don't remain like that. The Jignasu, by continuing the intensely, he becomes the Gnani. And the same way, with the arti, when he is praying, okay, and he is getting the benefits, and then he starts thinking, hey, let me pray to Bhagavan more so that I can even get better. Becomes artharthi. Okay. And then gradually, as the years pass or in the next life, then he would keep thinking, hey, who is this Bhagavan? I want to know that Bhagavan. Okay. I'm constantly thinking and I'm wanting all these things. Who is this Bhagavan? And so you start thinking of Bhagavan more and more and more. So you become a Jignasu. And then you become a Gnani. So like that. So that's what exactly happening to you. So it started as a Rajasic chanting. Now it has become a Sattvic chanting. So beautiful.
Raghuji, I think this is another typical example, Shobnaji's point. It is better if you, at this stage of at the, you're in the, what do you say, in the worldly grahasthastramam, I'm sorry. So in that stage, you're going to have these rajasic tendencies. But if you do it through these sattvic practices, eventually, with the more satsang and knowledges, you'll automatically transform where you tend to continue those practices without any desires, if I'm right.
Right. So, yeah. So, if you achieved your goal by doing the Vishnu Sahasranam, Lata Sahasranam, and then you stopped, then it was purely Rajasic. But now you say, hey, Bhagavan, I enjoy chanting your name
Right.
and remembering you. That is real Sattvic. So, very good, very nice. So we'll stop here, and it was a nice discussion. Okay, so we'll continue the next class. Let us see who is going to do it next class. Is Girijama? Can you do it? Summary. You are muted.
Okay.
Can you do the summary in next class?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Only thing is, I don't want to have a satsang next week, that's 29th, and then we will start on 5th. Okay? So we'll start on January 5th. So it'll be 2
Yes.
weeks break. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.
Raghuji,
Wish
can
you
I?
all happy holidays.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Raghuji.
Raghuji.
I have a question to
Happy,
ask you,
happy
Raghuji.
holidays.
So I've been listening to Bhagavata Sapta by Krishna Premi. Krishna Premi delivers his extempo. He doesn't have a book or anything, and the Sapta is amazing. Today is the day 4 that I was listening, and he was talking about Prahalada Charitram, and he made a comment that we get a human birth only when our papam and punyam is on a balance. And Nag and I looked at each other. We said, we've never heard this before. But he says, according to Bhagavatam, that is true. Is that true?
Even in Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, Bhagavan says that those who are extremely sattvic, they are born as gods. Though where there is a balance of sattva and rajas, they are born as human beings. Those who are predominantly tamasic are born as animals.
Okay.
Let me see, I can easily find out that sloka
Okay.
right here.
Okay. You don't have to tell me now, Raghuji. You can tell me next time. I don't want to hold you up.
No, it takes to since we finished the prayer, right?
Yeah, we finished. Yeah.
And so those who want to go, they can go. And
This is good information to know, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृतो तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् amalan pratipradyate. This is when the man dies during preponderance of sattva, he obtains the stainless ethereal world heaven attained by the men of noble deeds. But you have to understand, after that, after the exhaustion of those punya karmas, then you will be born as a human being again. Okay. But if you are rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangeshu jayate tata praleenastamase mooda yonisu jayate. Dying when rajas is predominant is born among those attached to action. Even so, the man who has expired during the preponderance of tamas is reborn in a species of stupid creatures such as insects and beasts. And even as being born as a human being, okay, then it shows the various differences that you see among ourselves. Okay. Those who are extremely predominant Rajasic, they they are outward. They want to enjoy the pleasures of the world. They want to become name, fame, and pleasures. But those who are born with a more predominant sattvic tendency, then you will see, though they're born as human beings, that they continue to have sattvic qualities. And just like we talked about those who are predominantly sattvic, they go to heavenly world. What happens? After the exhaustion of the punya karmas, they have to be born as human beings. But like in the end of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna beautifully says, they are born in a congenial family. Okay? They are comfortable, they are not poor, they are moderately well-to-do, and the parents are all in a sattvic, what we call seekers of God. That way, you remember your past vasanas for sadhana, you continue on. But if you are one of those who are extremely sattvic, had done so much punya karmas and had what we call the yoga brashta, you had done sadhana so much, but you did not realize your real nature. That kind of a person is born in an extremely devout family. Okay. And then you continue the sadhana and reach the goal in the next life. So,
Thank you, Raviji.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. So see you all next year and wish you all happy holidays. And if you are free in town, if you want to join us for the what do you call the New Year bhajan satsang in the Niketan, we will all meet. Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you,
Hari Om.
Raviji.
Hari Om, everybody.